So very recently, my wife and I, we had to move all of our bicycles inside. We were getting ready to have some work done outdoors and we had to make space. But it wasn't until we were in the process of moving these bicycles that we realized there's something really strange going on here. I mean, it felt like it was impossible to move those bikes. It was a struggle. The handlebars wouldn't turn, the tires wouldn't rotate, and it wasn't until we got the bicycles inside the house and into the light that we realized what was going on here. You see, it's been so long since we've used these bicycles, and due to the lack of use somewhere along the way, the bicycles became completely stiff and rusted. This was because they were left underutilized and unprotected. And it wasn't until later on when I was praying that it occurred to me, how many of us have gifts and talents that are in the same condition as those bicycles? You see, we all have something special on the inside of us. The Bible says in Romans 12:6 that we all have gifts and they differ according to the grace that God has given each of us. Proverbs 18:16 says, your gift will make room for you and bring you before great men. You see, you have a special gift on the inside, but it's not just about being in possession of that gift, but it's also about the protection and utilization of that gift. My question to you today is, what are you doing with your gifts and your talents today? What are you doing? You know, Steve Harvey said your gift is the thing you do the absolute best with the least amount of effort. You have a gift, something special that God has given you, and the purpose for that gift is to open up doors to possibilities, open up doors to realities, things that you can do, things that you want to do in life. We all have doors set before us. God has placed opportunities and set blessings aside for us, but the only thing we can use to help escort us through that door is the utilization of what He has given you. On the other side of that door are your dreams. On the other side of that door is your purpose in life. And the only way to step into that purpose and unlock that door is in the key that He has given you in the form of your gift. What are you doing with your gifts? What is those unique things? What are those things that you are good at? Those things that you're very good at and you think about doing it and you see yourself doing it all along, but sometimes you discount it because you don't know how the world's going to receive it. You see, so often we compare our gifts to the gifts of the people around us, and we can end up discounting the very thing that makes you valuable. So my question to you is, what are you doing with your gifts? So some of you may be listening to me right now and you're thinking, okay, Josh, I hear what you're saying. I need to tap into the gift, but I don't know where to start. Well, after you've identified what it is that God has placed in you, my next question is to ask you, who are you connected to? Let me tell you what I mean by that. You see, there was a young man named Timothy in the book of 2 Timothy chapter 1 who was getting ready to step into his calling, to tap into his gift. God had called him to be a leader in the church, but he was young and many believed to be very timid. In fact, he was probably considering all the things that he would face as a young leader and how the people would receive him. And so he had to be encouraged in order to step into what it is that God had called him to do. And the thing about Timothy is that he had someone named Paul to mentor him along the way. You see, Paul knew what it took to be a leader. Paul went through all the persecutions. He went through all the backlash and all the things. You see, where much is given, much is required. And so Paul had the highs of being a leader and he experienced the lows. He knew what it was like when people was for him and he knew what it was like when people was against him. And so Timothy had someone like that in his life to show him the course. And so it is said that Paul had to encourage Timothy over 25 times to not be timid, to be courageous, because this path that you're going to take, you can't take it as a timid individual. And so Paul said some very powerful words to Timothy. He told Timothy to stir up the gift that God has put in you. Stir it up. The word stir in this context is referring to like flames of a fire. You got to stir it up to keep it burning. You see, some of us are looking for the answer around us to do what we want to do when the answer already resides on the inside of us. The problem is it's not stirred up. You need to be connected to someone in your life who's going to be able to see you not for who you are today, but for who you can be tomorrow. You see, the rest of the world will judge you today based on what you did yesterday, but there are a few people who can see the potential inside you today and what you could become tomorrow. So who are you connected to? You see, some people will see see the gift inside of you and see the potential that you have, and know that it just needs a little bit of stirring. So think about, who are you connected to? What area in life are you gifted at? And who are you connected to that's living that life right now? That's who you need to reach out to. You see, you have something inside of you, and so often you may discount it and preoccupy yourself with other things because you don't know how to tap in what's inside of you. Dr. Miles Monroe said, preoccupied with a good thing is no substitute for the right thing. Do what you were born to do. God will never demand from you what he hasn't put inside of you. You see, once you expose yourself to a life of limitless possibilities, you will never go back to a life of limitation.